Earlier, protesters tried to stop the same ship from leaving Lesbos. 3 demonstrators jumped into the water and swam to the anchor chain before authorities removed them from the water. Now, another man scaled the fence and tried to get into a controlled area. Other protesters stood outside shouting at the police to call off the deportations. Let's go now live to TRT World's Soraya Lennie in Lesbos. Soraya, what do you know about those being sent back today to Turkey?
Well, we really don't know all that much about the individual cases, of course. There are a mixture of people from different places, but we know that this second wave of deportations that basically has come into force because of that EU Ankara agreement that came into place March 20th, that really started this morning around 7 o'clock local time here on the island, where 45 Pakistani men were put onto a boat. And as you mentioned, there were protesters who actually jumped into the water and swam in front of that boat to stop it from leaving. That sparked a little bit of a tense scene between the Greek Coast Guard and those protesters as they tried, of course, to move the boat and get the people out of the water. Now, they were later arrested, and it's believed that they'll be charged with charges basically against blocking public transportation. There was a second boat that left carrying around 80 people from different places, Bangladesh, Pakistan as well, somebody from Morocco. And it's believed, according to Frontex anyway, that these people did not apply for asylum, that they are effectively designated as economic migrants, that they've been sent back across the Aegean into Turkey. Now, this is a very tense situation in that Greece is under a lot of pressure, not just from Europe, but from other places to get this process right. There have been aid groups who have been very highly critical of the process and saying that some of the people who have already been sent back to Turkey weren't actually given the proper access to the asylum seeking process, and that's a violation of humanitarian law.
And Soraya, obviously this has stirred, protests and anger across the islands and on the coast of Turkey. We've now seen footage that's been revealed from just a couple of nights ago from some of the anger on the island of Chios. Let's just take a look at that now. So we did have a crew there a couple of nights ago, and they did speak to us about this. Can you just perhaps give us a little bit more information about the sentiment on the island of Chios at the moment, and also Lesbos, and what are people seeing there?
Well, this video that's just been released really does illustrate the point of some people's sentiments anyway. We can't really say everybody feels that way. It was a protest a couple of nights ago where around 200 far-right radical protesters, it looks like they sent a firework, basically, or shot a firework at this particular cafe that was helping provide food for the migrants and the asylum seekers. Now, it's really sparked a sentiment against some of those people here, not just on Chios, of course. There are other Greek islands since last summer that have really been the main point for the arrivals from the Middle East, from Syria, from Iraq, and also from other areas like Pakistan, for example, as well. And many of the islands, not just Chios, have seen their economies really slide because of the perception that basically they've been flooded with migrants. Now, it's a little bit different from island to island, depending on, of course, whether or not the asylum seekers and the migrants are actually allowed to walk around in public. In a place like Chios, for example, that's one of the reasons that some people are so very much against the presence there.
Okay, Soraya, thanks very much for that. That's Soraya Lennie on the island of Chios there.